If you're one of the millions of Canadians who order tequila at least once a month, listen up. Most people think tequila is tequila, right? Blue agave, distilled in Mexico. Maybe aged in a barrel if you're feeling fancy. How bad could it be? Well, buckle up, because the tequila industry has become an absolute race to the bottom. After spending months researching these brands, tasting different expressions, and digging through independent lab reports and production methods, I'm genuinely disturbed by what most Canadians are pouring into their glasses. Some of these tequila brands are barely better than flavored vodka. Some are loaded with hidden additives, and others are complete rip-offs charging you premium prices for industrial swill run through a factory process. This isn't about being a snob or a tequila elitist. This is about knowing what you're actually paying for when you spend $40 to $100 on a bottle at your provincial liquor store. The tequila industry is worth billions annually, and a shocking amount of it is built on clever marketing, celebrity endorsements, and straight-up deception. In this video, I'm exposing 5 tequila brands that are essentially liquid disappointment masquerading as premium spirits. And then I'll reveal 3 brands that actually deliver real value for your money. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to hear could save you from some seriously regrettable purchases and even worse, hangovers. Number 5. Jose Cuervo. Jose Cuervo dominates the tequila section at every liquor store in Canada. That familiar gold bottle has been the go-to choice for decades. At around $30 to $40 for the Especial line, it seems like reasonable value. But here's the ugly truth they don't want you to know. Jose Cuervo Especial, both the gold and silver versions, is what's called a mixto tequila. This means it's only 51% blue agave. The other 49%, that's cane sugar, corn syrup, and neutral grain spirits mixed in to cut costs. You're literally paying for tequila that's been diluted with cheap alcohol and sweeteners. That gold color you see? It's not from barrel aging. It's artificial caramel coloring added to make you think you're getting something aged and sophisticated. It's trickery in a bottle. The gold color is a complete illusion designed to deceive consumers who don't know any better. Independent tasting reviews consistently rate Cuervo Especial at the absolute bottom of the tequila spectrum. Reviewers describe it as smelling like nail polish remover, tasting chemical and medicinal, with a finish that feels like punishment. Another said they would rather drink raw sewage. The reason you feel like death the morning after a Cuervo night isn't because you had too much. It's because mixto tequilas contain a cocktail of different alcohols and additives that your body struggles to process. The hangovers from this stuff are legendary, and not in a good way. Here's what really bothers me. Jose Cuervo is owned by the Beckman family through their company Proximos Spirits, a massive Mexican beverage conglomerate. They absolutely have the resources to make quality tequila. In fact, they do make some decent stuff like the traditional line, which is 100% agave. But they continue pushing the Especial garbage because it's cheap to produce, and consumers keep buying it out of brand recognition. When 75% of every bottle you buy in Ontario goes to taxes and LCBO markup, paying even $30 for glorified grain alcohol with tequila flavoring is highway robbery. Jose Cuervo Especial represents everything wrong with corporate exploitation of consumer ignorance. The world's best-selling tequila is also one of the worst you can buy. Number 4, Patron. Patron might be the most overhyped tequila brand on the planet. Thanks to countless rap lyrics and celebrity endorsements, this brand has become synonymous with premium tequila. At $60 to $80 for the silver at most Canadian liquor stores, you're paying a serious premium. But is it worth it? Not even close. Let me be clear about something. Patron is technically a decent tequila. It's 100% blue agave, made in the highlands of Jalisco. But here's the problem. You're paying for marketing, not quality. Patron has convinced people that their tequila is the pinnacle of the category through pure brand positioning and celebrity association. The taste? Experts describe it as clean but bland. One reviewer called it the flavor of mineral water spiked with a drop of agave nectar. The agave flavor that should be front and center in any quality tequila is almost completely absent in Patron. Patron was created in 1989 by John Paul DeJoria, the the same guy behind Paul Mitchell hair products. From the beginning, it was marketed as ultra-premium to justify its high price tag. The thick, fancy bottle with the hand-blown glass and cork stopper, that's all part of the illusion. You're paying for packaging. In 2018, Bacardi acquired Patron for a staggering $5.1 billion. That acquisition wasn't about quality tequila production. It was about owning a brand that had successfully convinced consumers that paying more means getting better. Since then, Patron has been embroiled in controversies with Mexico's Tequila Regulatory Council over additive labeling and transparency issues. Here's the irony. In Mexico, many locals won't even drink Patron. It's viewed as a tequila designed for export, made to appeal to American and Canadian palates that don't actually know what good tequila tastes like. Some reports say you can't even find it easily in Mexican stores because Mexicans themselves prefer other brands. For the $60 to $80 Patron costs at the LCBO, you could buy 2 bottles of significantly better tequila. Patron is the emperor's new clothes of the spirits world. Everyone pretends it's premium because the price tag says so, but anyone who actually knows tequila recognizes it for what it is: overpriced, underwhelming, and riding entirely on brand recognition. Number 3, Casamigos. Casamigos is the celebrity tequila that started the flood of famous faces slapping their names on agave spirits. Founded by George Clooney, Randy Gerber, and Mike Meldman, it was sold to beverage giant Diageo in 2017 for a jaw-dropping $1 billion. Clooney personally walked away with an estimated $239 million from the deal. That's nice for him. Not so nice for you. At $50 to $60 for the Blanco in Canada, Casamigos positions itself as a smooth, easy-drinking tequila created by friends who just wanted something better. The marketing is slick. Cindy Crawford and friends sipping cocktails, frolicking on beaches, living their best lives. The message is clear: buy this tequila and you could be like them. The reality? Multiple independent tasters and tequila experts have identified Casamigos as having additives. The unnaturally smooth, sweet taste that makes it so approachable? That's likely from added sweeteners and glycerin, not exceptional craftsmanship. Tequila regulations in Mexico allow producers to add up to 1% of additives, including sugar syrups, glycerin, caramel coloring, and oak extract, without disclosing it on the label. One prominent tequila reviewer described Casamigos as, quote, overrated, overhyped, artificially flavored, and not worth the price, end quote. Another said it tastes watery, bland, hot, and too sweet. The consensus among serious tequila enthusiasts is that Casamigos is designed for people who don't actually like the taste of tequila but want to say they drink premium spirits. It gets worse. In 2025, a lawsuit was filed against Diageo, claiming that both Casamigos and Don Julio contain cane sugar, meaning they might not actually be 100% agave as advertised. Diageo has denied these claims, but the lawsuit raises serious questions about what you're actually drinking. Casamigos is produced at a distillery in Jalisco with the NOM number 1416, which also produces numerous other brands. There are rumors in the industry about diffuser use and additive manipulation at this facility. When Diageo took over, production was moved to their own distillery, NOM 1609, raising further questions about consistency and quality. The celebrity tequila phenomenon that Casamigos launched has been terrible for the industry. It proved that you don't need to make exceptional tequila to make exceptional money. You just need a famous face and good marketing. When you buy Casamigos, you're not paying for quality. You're paying George Clooney's royalties and Diageo's marketing budget. Number 2, Sauza. Sauza has incredible historical significance in the tequila world. Founded in 1873 by Don Zenobio Sauza, this was the first distillery to call the spirit tequila and the first to export it internationally. That legacy deserves respect. Unfortunately, what's being sold under the Sauza name today is a shadow of what it once represented. At around $25 to $35 for most Sauza products in Canada, the price seems budget-friendly, but you need to read those labels very carefully. The standard Sauza Silver and Gold are mixto tequilas. Like Cuervo, They're only 51% agave, with the rest being cheap sugars and other alcohols. The label says made with agave, but conspicuously avoids saying 100% agave. That's not an accident. Sauza is now owned by Suntory Global Spirits of Japan, the same conglomerate that owns Jim Beam. In 2014, Suntory acquired the brand as part of their $16 billion purchase of Beam Inc. Since then, the focus has been on industrial efficiency, not artisanal quality. All Sauza tequilas are made using a diffuser, which is essentially an industrial machine that extracts sugars from raw, uncooked agave using high-pressure water and chemicals. Traditional tequila production involves slow cooking the agave hearts in brick ovens for days to develop complex flavors. Diffuser production strips away those nuanced flavors in favor of speed and cost savings. Industry experts consistently cite Sauza as having additives in their products. Their aged expressions likely contain caramel coloring, glycerin, sweeteners, and oak extract to simulate qualities that proper barrel aging would naturally provide. When a brand uses diffusers to produce tasteless base spirit, they need additives to create any semblance of flavor. Reviews of Sauza are brutal. The flavor profile is thin and watery, and there's a chemical aftertaste that lingers unpleasantly. One reviewer on Tequila Matchmaker recommended buying almost any other brand instead, even at the same price point. Here's the real tragedy. Sauza has the resources and facilities to make excellent tequila, but the standard Sauza products that dominate liquor store shelves represent the absolute minimum effort required to legally call something tequila. You deserve better than corporate corner cutting disguised as value. Number 1. El Jimador. El Jimador sits in an interesting position. It's actually 100% blue agave, which puts it ahead of the mixto garbage from Cuervo and Sauza. At around $30 to $40 in Canada, it seems like a reasonable entry point into proper tequila. So why is it on the worst list? Because the way it's made undermines everything that makes tequila special. El Jimador is owned by Brown-Forman, the American beverage giant behind Jack Daniel's whiskey. They acquired the brand in 2007 for over $700 million from the Herradura family. Since then, production has shifted toward industrial efficiency. Like Sauza, El Jimador uses a diffuser process to extract sugars from the agave. This high-tech factory approach produces a clean but characterless spirit that lacks the depth and complexity of traditionally made tequilas. The authentic agave character that should define tequila is almost entirely stripped away. The brand markets itself by honoring the Jimadores, the skilled workers who harvest agave by hand. It's beautiful marketing, but there's a cruel irony in naming your tequila after traditional craftsmen while using industrial processes that eliminate the need for traditional craftsmanship in production. Tasting notes for El Jimador consistently mention alcohol burn, medicinal flavors, and artificial fruit notes. One expert described it as, quote, "what diffuser column distilled tequila tastes like," end quote. Another noted that the brand has gone downhill significantly since the turn of the century when Brown-Forman installed diffusers. The old El Jimador was apparently quite good. The current version is a hollow imitation. Here's what makes El Jimador particularly frustrating. At its price point, there are numerous 100% agave tequilas that use traditional production methods. Brands like Olmeca Altos, Espolon, and Cimarron all cost similar amounts while delivering authentic agave character. El Jimador charges the same, but delivers an industrially processed product. The 100% agave label is necessary, but not sufficient for quality tequila. How that agave is cooked, extracted, fermented, and distilled matters enormously. El Jimador proves that even with the right raw ingredient, cutting corners in production creates an inferior product. You're paying for agave but getting factory output. Here's what you need to understand about the tequila industry. It's built on consumer ignorance and clever marketing. Most tequila isn't made in small batches by passionate craftsmen. It's produced in industrial facilities owned by multinational corporations focused on shareholder returns. The regulations allow producers to add sweeteners, colorings, and flavor agents to 100% agave tequilas without disclosure, as long as additives stay under 1% of total volume. But modern additive technology is incredibly concentrated. That 1% can dramatically alter color, aroma, and taste. You have no way of knowing what's really in your bottle. Diffuser technology has transformed the industry. Traditional tequila production requires cooking agave hearts for 2 to 3 days in brick ovens to caramelize sugars and develop complex flavors. Diffusers extract raw sugars in hours, producing vastly more spirit per agave plant but sacrificing all the nuanced flavors. The resulting spirit needs additives to taste like anything at all. The Canadian market makes everything worse. Provincial liquor board markups add massive costs to every bottle. In Ontario, 75% of what you pay goes to taxes and LCBO margins. That $30 bottle of mediocre tequila cost maybe $5 to produce. You're mostly paying government revenue, not distillery quality. So what should you buy instead? Here are 3 brands that actually deliver value for your money. Number 1, 1800 Tequila. Here's the plot twist. 1800 Tequila is actually owned by the same company as Jose Cuervo. They share distillery facilities in Jalisco, but unlike Cuervo Especial, 1800 is 100% blue agave, and it delivers genuinely good quality at a reasonable price. At around $40 to $50 for the silver at most Canadian liquor stores, 1800 sits in the sweet spot of affordability and quality. Wine Enthusiast gave it 91 points, praising its surprisingly floral and delicate character with a pleasing agave aroma and crisp, peppy flavor profile, with touches of vanilla and white pepper. The brand traces its name to the year 1800, when tequila was allegedly first aged in oak casks. Whether that history is accurate, the attention to tradition shows in the product. 1800 uses 100% blue Weber agave harvested at peak maturity from the Jalisco highlands. The agave is slow-cooked and double-distilled in copper pot stills. What sets 1800 apart is the brief oak resting even for their silver expression. Unlike most blancos that go straight from still to bottle, 1800 Silver rests for about 15 days in American and French oak. This rounds out the spirit without overwhelming the agave character. Tequila experts consistently highlight 1800 as a staple blanco that punches above its price point. It's versatile enough for cocktails, smooth enough for sipping, and priced reasonably enough to use without worry. The brand owns its entire production chain from field to bottle, controlling quality at every step. They grow their own agave, operate their own distillery, and manage their own aging facilities. This vertical integration provides consistency that contract-produced brands simply cannot match. For margaritas, palomas, or shots, 1800 delivers legitimate 100% agave quality without premium pricing. It proves that a corporate parent company doesn't automatically mean inferior product. Sometimes the big players get it right. Number 2, Hornitos. Hornitos comes from the same parent company as Sauza, Beam Suntory. But don't let that association scare you away. Hornitos is the quality line they actually put effort into, particularly the reposado expression. At around $30 to $40 in Canada, Hornitos Reposado offers 100% blue agave tequila with 2 months of oak aging. That brief barrel time adds vanilla and caramel notes while preserving the agave character. For the price, it's genuinely difficult to find better value. The name Hornitos references the traditional clay ovens historically used to roast agave hearts. While the modern production has evolved, the brand at least acknowledges those artisanal roots. Unlike their parent company's bottom-shelf offerings, Hornitos actually tries to deliver on quality. Reviews consistently praise Hornitos Reposado as a solid, reliable choice. One taster called it, quote, the best value of the Sauza bunch, end quote, noting decent flavor, good mixing capability, and easy availability at reasonable prices. Another described it as fantastic for the price and recommended it to anyone new to tequila looking for an affordable, 100% agave entry point. Is Hornitos the most artisanal, traditionally crafted tequila available? No. Does it compete with high-end sipping tequilas? No. But for its price point, it delivers legitimate quality that justifies the purchase. When your budget doesn't allow for premium bottles, Hornitos Reposado is an honest choice that won't disappoint. The key here is buying the right expression. Hornitos Plata has harsher reviews, with tasters noting a cheap taste and bitter finish. Stick with the Reposado, where the brief aging smooths out the rough edges and adds pleasant complexity. Number 3. Don Julio. Don Julio represents what premium tequila should be. Founded in 1942 by the actual Don Julio Gonzalez, this brand has maintained quality standards through decades of growth. Now owned by Diageo, it remains one of the most consistently excellent tequilas widely available in Canada. At around $50 to $70 for the Blanco and Reposado, Don Julio costs more than budget options. But here's the difference. You're actually getting what you pay for. This is 100% Highland agave, traditionally cooked in masonry ovens and properly distilled in small batches. Don Julio's founder revolutionized tequila production. He spaced agave plants further apart for better growth, waited for full maturity before harvesting, slow roasted the hearts for longer periods, and used more agave per bottle than competitors. These practices created noticeably smoother tequila decades before. Smooth became a marketing buzzword. The distillery produces only the Don Julio brand. Unlike facilities that churn out dozens of different labels at various quality levels, La Primavera Distillery focuses exclusively on maintaining Don Julio's standards. That singular focus shows in the consistency across expressions. What really sets Don Julio apart is their barrel aging approach. For the Añejo, they age in barrels that previously held their Reposado for 8 months. This means the barrels have already mellowed, so the Añejo gets oak influence without being overwhelmed by wood. The result is more agave-forward than most Añejos, with butterscotch and honey notes rather than heavy leather and tobacco. Critics praise Don Julio for being agave-forward rather than oak-heavy. One expert noted that unlike many competitors, Don Julio lets you actually taste the fruit rather than just the barrel. The tequila maintains its agave character across all expressions from Blanco to the ultra-premium 1942. Yes, Don Julio costs more. But in a market flooded with overpriced celebrity brands and additive-laden imposters, paying $50 to $70 for genuinely well-made tequila is actually fair value. You're supporting traditional production methods and getting a superior product. For special occasions, sipping neat, or making cocktails you want to remember, Don Julio delivers. It's what premium tequila should taste like before marketing departments figured out they could charge premium prices for industrial product. This video exposed the lies behind what Canadians are pouring into their glasses. Most people have no idea they're drinking mixto garbage cut with grain alcohol, or industrially processed spirit stripped of character, or additive-laden liquid designed by chemists rather than distillers. The 5 brands to avoid represent the worst of the tequila industry: corporate cost-cutting, misleading marketing, industrial production, and outright deception about what's actually in the bottle. Jose Cuervo sells you diluted mixto at premium prices. Patron sells marketing instead of quality. Casamigos sells celebrity worship. Sauza sells its legacy to industrial processes. Jimador sells the 100% agave promise, while stripping away what that agave should taste like. The 3 brands worth buying prove that good tequila doesn't require a second mortgage. 1800 delivers solid quality at accessible prices. Hornitos Reposado offers genuine value for budget-conscious buyers. Don Julio shows what premium actually means when it's not just marketing copy. Knowledge is power. Now you know what's actually on those liquor store shelves. Share this video with everyone you know, because most Canadians are getting robbed every time they buy tequila. Subscribe to this channel, because I'm exposing more industry scams that are emptying Canadian wallets and ruining Canadian hangovers. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video.